Hello, cool artisans. My name is Shonda and welcome to my channel Under the Needle. So I'm here today with an unboxing. I just received my Sew Sampler. This is a monthly subscription box curated by Fat Quarter Shop. I think it's the only subscription. Well, no, it's not the only. Anyway, so this is curated by Fat Quarter Shop. It's $24.95 a month plus tax and shipping. I enjoy this subscription box. It does tend to be project-based. There's usually, there's always some fabric and a pattern, and then there's usually some other interesting or cute or, I don't know the word, notions. There'll be some notions in there that we may find of interest and maybe not. So I'm going to go ahead and open it. This is for the month of September. But let me tell y'all guys. Life is sweet. Oh, if we're getting sweet water, I'm gonna pass out. But let me give you guys a quick update. So I have been working on the room. I've been doing my hour a day. I do see progress. I don't know if you guys can see, but there used to be a giant bin on the floor behind me, full of quilt kits. And now those same quilt kits are up there. I had to buy a ladder and all that good stuff, but making some progress in that regard. So yes, it's going to take some time. Yes, I'm only doing an hour a day, sometimes more, but generally about an hour. But I plan to have a significant amount of time this weekend because I got into a car accident yesterday. The hits just keep on coming, y'all. So basically what happened was, I'm pulling these pages. There's a four-way stop sign. I was on my way to the store. There's a four-way stop sign. And I'm coming up and someone else is coming this way. We both get to the stop sign. Or I don't know. Because my memory's not great. I don't really remember cars. So I pull up to the stop sign. I stop. I look. It's clear. I start to go, and here's my vehicle, and here's someone else's vehicle. Next thing I know, I am struck in the right rear passenger side, and then I kind of spun and did a 180. All low speeds, no injuries. I think I am going to go to the doctor and get checked out, not because I do have like this one little bruise here. Don't even know how I got that, but I got this bruise here. But I did feel like a little soreness in my upper back. So I might just go get that checked out just to make sure everything is okay, because sometimes, with the adrenaline at the time, you don't feel anything, and then things can develop, days later. So just to cover myself, just to make sure nothing develops, or just in case something does develop, I just want to go ahead and get that doctor's appointment in. So I'll probably try to go do that tomorrow. But I don't have a vehicle anymore. And so since I don't have a vehicle, I can't be out in these streets ripping and running and doing all kinds of things. I kind of have to sit my tail down because I wasn't, the rental car won't be ready until Tuesday. They won't have a rental until Tuesday. So I do have the option to call some other rental places to see if somebody has something sooner, or I can just choose to wait until Tuesday. But it's Friday already, and it's pretty tough to get a rental on Friday sometimes, especially through the insurance company, right? Because your insurance company has a negotiated rate of $30 a day. And I don't know if anyone's looked at car rentals lately, but they're about $450 a week. So it's way more profitable for the car rental agency to rent a vehicle to a private individual than it is for them to honor that contract with the insurance company. So we'll see what happens. But this is my car. The insurance company, when I was describing the damage, they pretty much told me that it was going to be totaled because of this wheel action here, and how that wheel is completely pushed in. But as you can see, all the they had a white vehicle. That's the white paint. If you can even make out that that's white paint. But yeah, my car is toast. So today, my daughter just happened to be coming home today. She was planning to come home. So it just worked out that she's here so she can take me to my vehicle where I can get all of my personal belongings because my car is dead. RIP. RIP to the Sportage. So let's open this box. Like the Sweet, September 2022. Okay, so we have a magnetic seam guide. I own these already. I have a few of these. I find them to be very useful. You may or may not find them to be useful. But basically what you do is this goes on the bed of your machine. So your needle plate is generally metal. And so this will just kind of go right on there, and you can use this to measure your seam allowance. So instead of maybe using Post-it notes or tape or whatever you're using, you can use these, and it will act as a seam guide. I only use it on certain machines. I can use it on my Janome. I can't use it on my Juki, I believe is how it goes. I think on my Juki, it starts to mess with something. I can't really remember, but I think I can use it on my Janome, but not my Juki. So this is pretty neat. If you don't have one of these, I like them. This is something that I already have. And so this is a really good newbie box this month. So we have a seam ripper, of course. Let's see here. So this is by Fat Quarter Shop. So an ergonomic seam ripper by Fat Quarter Shop. I have seam rippers like this. The one, I might like this one. So I have one like this. It does feel really comfortable in the hand when you are doing a lot of seam ripping. It's a little bit more comfortable long term than the Clover, which is my favorite seam ripper. But this does have its place. But the one that I have and why I don't use it a lot is that this this top, mine doesn't stay on. So it's like I put it up there and I push it and it doesn't stay, and it's constantly popping off, and which kind of reduces its usefulness to me. I know it's over there somewhere, but I'm not going to go get it. But yeah, certainly great to have. You will always need a seam ripper, and it helps to have several of them because you never know when you are going to need another one, or just to have several. Like I personally like to have several. I'm just looking at the pattern. I personally like to have several. I like to have like some here where I do my ironing. I like to have it at my pressing station. I like to have some over here where I'm cutting, because I just find that I need them all the time. So I don't mind having many seam rippers. I have many seam rippers. I'll probably buy another one in a couple months. I just like having them a lot. I like having a lot of them. It's like pins. I like having a lot of pins, and I like having my pins all over. So I have those little magnetic pin cushions, those little magnets. And when I'm working, I like to have one at my machine. I like to have one here at my pressing table, and I like to have one over at my cutting table. I like to have a few of them. Same with the seam ripper. That way I don't have to go get it. We also have here, this will be good for you hand sewers. I won't really need these. These are thimble pads. I haven't seen these actually. If you're a hand sewer, you might have. But they're real leather. So it says they're hug your finger, you forget it's there, secure, no slipping or thread catching, reusable adhesive. So you can reuse them. So there's 12 of them here. And it is what it says it is. You basically put it on your finger and it works as a thimble. I don't know how these work because I've never used these. And again, I don't hand sew. So this will go in the little drawer over there with all the other hand sewing notions that I've received. I mean, I just understand that in the quilting world, a lot of people machine sew and a lot of people do some handwork, either through English paper piecing or applique. Some people like to hand stitch their binding. So there's a use for this. It's not particularly useful to me, but I never knock the box for putting in stuff that I personally wouldn't use if I think that it could be useful to another quilter. So I'm fine with this. Oh, FYI, these little scissors that we got last month, I've already ordered 2 more of these. I like these. I think the thing that I like the most about it is that the cover stays attached, because this is something that I would always lose. But because it stays attached, I don't have to worry about that. So I ordered 2 more. These are not for big time cutting, okay? You're not going to cut a project with these. But for snipping threads and snipping yarn, perfect. Okay, and so our pattern, well, before I get to the pattern, we've got our Stowalong block. Oh, this is an interesting block. Let's see if I can show you guys. Do I have a blank piece of paper? There we go. There's the block up there. It's not really a good way to see it, is it? There it is. That's our block this month. I have not been doing this. I'm going to put this with the other blocks that I've collected and mail these to one of my subscribers because she wants to do this. I'll be getting those out in the mail this weekend to you if you happen to catch this video. So here's the pattern, which I really, really like. I really like this pattern. So, Sweetest Honey quilt pattern, finish size 38 by 49 and a half. So for the throw quilt, you need 18 10-inch squares, 1 7/8 yards of background, and 5/8 yards for accent and binding, and then of course your backing. If you wanted to make a lap quilt, you would need a full 42 piece, you would need 42 10-inch squares, so you'd need a full layer cake, 4.5 yards of background, and 3/4 yards of accent and binding. But I do like this pattern a lot. At first, I thought it was 2 different block designs, and then I realized that it's not. It's just that some of the blocks, the lighter, like this one here, this lighter color, you kind of lose that edge. So I'm just seeing the internal star, and I'm not seeing this edge here. But then on some of them, it's like the opposite, where you can see this outer piece here, and then you kind of lose that interior star. So I might use different fabric for more contrast. But I like this. I'm just looking here. Cutting is easy, of course. Okay, I'm seeing the block construction. Let's see if I can show you guys the block better. That's the block. You can kind of see that there's 4 squares that have snowballed edges. I don't think I'm giving anything away here. You can look at it. You can look at it and tell. It's 4 squares with snowballed edges, and then it looks like some hourglass blocks, and then a plain square in the middle. So, and construction is definitely not difficult. And our fabric, of course, we have 18 10-inch squares. And when you look at the price of a layer cake these days, each 10-inch square is about $1. Okay, 42 10-inch squares and a layer cake these days is about $45, which is crazy to me. I thought it was crazy. I thought the prices were crazy before. Even like some places they're like $50, like depending on where you look. Like here in the States, like some layer cakes are like $50. I'm like, what? So just taking that price into consideration, these 18 10-inch squares right here, this is $18, and your box is $25. So I think we're very well getting our value here. Let's excuse me. Let's look at what that quarter shop values the fabric at. They value the fabric at $19.99, and so this is Sweet as Honey Daisy Fields. That's the whole name? No, it's just Daisy Fields. So the pattern is Sweet as Honey, and the fabric line is Daisy Fields by Bev McCullough for Riley Blake. So when I opened the box, I didn't recognize the fabric. I'm not familiar with this line, but when I saw, the sweet, I was like, oh, if it's Sweetwater, please be Sweetwater. Please, 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 please. But it's not, and that's okay. Let's open this up and look at the fabric a little bit. Definitely a bee theme, right? See the honeycombs there. Okay. So we've got that honeycomb print. We have this honeycomb print. This honeycomb. So there's 3 different shades, same print. So flowers. We've got like an all over filigree type. Have that again. Then we've got our plaid in the yellow. We've got our plaid in the blue. We've got a polka dot. Another polka dot. These are actually, they're actually hexagons. They look like dots, but they're not. They're hexagons. I wonder if the other one was dots. No, this one's definitely dots. This one is actually hexagons. And then we have a floral. And we have another floral, another small print floral, or small scale floral, I should say. Small scale floral again. We have a typography print. Same typography print, different color. We've got the swirling bees. Swirling bees in another color. And those are our 18 layer cake squares. I actually do like the color theme here. I actually do like the bees. Sometimes if the bees look too much like real bees, then I'm not a fan. So I kind of like cartoonish like bees and butterflies. I prefer when they're a little bit more cartoonish and less real looking. That's just my personal preference when it comes to fabric with insects on it. And I don't know why. It's just that I just prefer, and not just insects, I think animals in general. Insects, animals, I just prefer for the artwork to be more cartoonish and less real. So cartoon dog, okay. Dog that looks like a real dog, not so much. That's just me, personal preferences. Okay, so let's recap this box. We have a magnetic seam guide. Certainly recommend that you try it, especially if you struggle with your seam allowance. It may help you, it may not. But I bought these when I was newer. I don't really use them so much anymore because I have a 1/4 inch foot that I prefer. But there is a place for them. And because you can move it, you can use it for any seam allowance. Like my 1/4 inch seam guide is only good for a 1/4 inch. So if I need to sew 3/8, I can't use that foot for that, but I could use this. We have a ergonomic seam ripper with a cap that stays on really well. The one that I have, I believe it's the Dritz one, and it's purple. And I bought it because it's purple, and I love purple. And but it didn't function the way I wanted it to. Not only was it not as efficient as the Clover, but the selling point of it was the lid, the top, the cap is the word I've been looking for this entire time. The cap. The cap was the selling point for me because I could throw that in a bag and not worry, because my Clover, I just have a piece of breathing treatment tubing on it, like hospital tubing on it. So if I throw that in a bag, it could easily get like snapped. So I liked the idea of having one with a cap because that's something that I can throw in a bag. But the way this is set, the way that was set up, it just didn't work because the cap just popped off constantly, would not stay on, pain in the tail. So I have more hopes for this one. I still have to try it out as a seam ripper to make sure that it does what I need it to do. But we shall see. We got these little leather thimble pads by Colonial. Self-explanatory. It is a thimble pad made of leather. They are pretty thick here. They got some thickness there. Don't know if you can see that. Probably not. But theoretically, you put it on your hand, on your fingertip, or wherever you hand sewers put things like this, and you use it as your thimble. And it's supposed to be strong enough to where you can sew anything. It's supposed to work for everything. It says for maximum protection, you can stack 2 pads. They hold securely in place, and they are reusable. We have our Stowalong card. I've already set that aside for the subscriber that wants them. But we have our Stowalong card. It's month 6 month. We have our Sweetest Honey pattern, which I actually really like. I could definitely see me making this, but mine, of course, because I prefer the I prefer rectangular quilts. It's just me. I just like the aesthetic of that. So I would probably take 1 or 2 of these rows off and finish it at a rectangle instead of a square. So I could theoretically piece all of the blocks and put some of them on the back. I don't know. Whenever I get around to it, because as I told y'all, no large quilt projects for me. It was almost like, the car accident was like God's way of like making sure I stuck to my word. Because I did really well this week. I do Instacart nights and weekends to make extra money because of the inflation and because my fiance, he took a few months off and took a break. And we had discussed that, and it was something I supported him in. And at the same time, I didn't want to make any sacrifices to our plans, right? I didn't want to cut out our party in July. I didn't want to cut out going to the mountains for my birthday. I didn't want to cut these things out. So I was working frantically to raise extra money so that we could maintain our lifestyle while he wasn't working and while, we had all this other stuff going on. And so part of my promise, not only working, not just the commitment to doing an hour a day, not just that, but also I made a commitment that I was not going to do any side hustles Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was not going to go out. I was not going to do any Instacarting or anything like that to raise any extra money. I would just do it a little bit Thursday, a little bit Friday, and a little bit more on the weekends, and to have a little bit more balance and to give my body some rest and to give it a break. But I'm starting to think maybe God didn't believe that I was going to stay true to my word. And so he's like, now I'm going to make you sit down. I'm going to force you to sit down. So, and then of course, lastly, we have our fabric. And this is Daisy Fields. I've already forgotten. Yeah, Daisy Fields by Bev McCullough for Riley Blake. I will say out of all the design, well, not out of all, but generally I tend to gravitate toward Riley Blake the least. I feel like and that's just anecdotal, right? I don't know that for sure, but I feel like if I went through my stash, I would have less Riley Blake than, say, Moda. I would have more Moda, probably more Basic Gray. I love Basic Gray. I definitely have a lot of Boundless. But anyway, I'm talking too much as usual. And then, of course, as always, we have a coupon. This month's coupon is for 30% off pins and needles. It expires November 20th, 2022. As a side note, I did not use the coupon, but when I was up in the mountains, I got a 20% off coupon from Fat Corp Shop. And they don't do that very often. I was quite tempted. If it hadn't been for the fact that I was already up in the mountains and, spending money for vacation, and maybe it wouldn't be a good idea to buy a bunch of quilt fabric, I probably would have bought something. I probably would have. But I was like, no, that's probably not a good idea. There's a lot going on right now. You're already on vacation. You're already up in the mountains. You don't need to buy any fabric. And so I didn't. But there was a 25% off coupon that Missouri Star gave, and I did buy a few things. I did. Anyway, that's enough for me. This video has gone on long enough. I'm going to go ahead and move on. I have some other unboxings. The Quilt Addicts Anonymous came in. I still have to do my Goodies Color Club that came in while I was on vacation. I haven't done that video yet either. So I'm gonna cut it here and say goodbye, and I will see you guys next video.